in the case of events, because we have these big screens, we have to think differently than what we've become accustomed to, which is the TikTokification of our lives, which is my phone, swipe, 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 swipe. And the whole point is to shake someone's seats, right? You're not getting the beginning of Godzilla when he's created. You're just getting the attack.
Lost in space, but that's okay. Climb aboard the brand spaceship today.
Welcome to the Brand Spaceship. My name is Ryan Sheffer. That is producer Jared. Today, what are we talking about, Jared?
I was thinking that we could talk through events and the theater experience that can be unlocked through event video that you can't get on your iPhone, you can't get on your laptop.
This is the punch in the I know Rusty Brand is going to bleep me. The punch in the
Why is
This
that?
is what I called it. But this is whenever we're doing event video work, I obsess about the sound because when you're in a theater, the big difference is the sound.
The sound is infinitely clearer.
Like if I listen to the tinny speakers on my iPhone, I can get the story. And I'm just going to be honest, many films, it's fine, right? If it's just a story, it's fine.
It's such a sadness that you think you've seen a film on your telephone.
However, you lack the gut punch. Let's change it. I won't call it the other words.
All right.
The gut punch of all of a sudden out of nowhere an explosion. Of the quietness, of the contrast of dark and light, right? When you're in a theater, it's like if they go black on a 50-foot screen, in these events, a 200-foot screen, you go dark, you go dark.
Yeah.
Right? You go pitch black in these spaces. Exclusive. And when you counteract that with a big white screen or a flash or something, it's really intense. And I've seen it done so that it's almost seizure-inducing, where you're like, but when you know how to control it, it's this whole other level of attention that you can grab from the audience. The reason why your phone may need short-form videos is because a phone is a lot more boring than a giant screen.
And we had recently, in a recent engagement with Amazon, we had a whole bunch of back and forth with the client about the opening of the video, getting that gut punch. There were a number of different ways that we approached it.
They weren't originally sold on the gut punch.
Right.
A lot of times when you're the creative shop doing this type of work, it's actually difficult to express to the client the experience in the room. And frankly, it's because it's difficult to get the experience in the room. We've done everything from just 2.5D mock-ups of a screen within a space. We've done all the way to Gabrielle wearing an Oculus Rift walking around the space and watching a video, right? We've done the whole gamut of ways that you can pre-visualize this experience, try to understand what it will be like in the space. But the truth is, it's really difficult, especially with OnePlus that was 360 video. So when people were previewing the video on a regular screen, it was a very, very thin strip of video. You could barely see anything. You end up looking at something that by no means represents 9 projectors, 400-something feet of screen. Like it doesn't reflect the experience. And that's just the visual. I actually think it's more impactful when it comes to the audio. Because in that case, we had wraparound sound, right? Most of the people were going to be listening and making sense of how it should feel, look, sound, etc. They're not sitting in a surround sound booth. They literally maybe have AirPods on. If you're lucky, they have AirPods on. And so there's a lot of needing to explain why something is a good idea. And also just being okay with the fact that if you can't convince them of
Is this part of it?
what it will be like in the room, you're not getting it cleared. Because this whole thing is about knowing how someone is consuming your content. And in the case of events, because we have these big screens, we have to think differently than what we've become accustomed to, which is the TikTokification of our lives, which is my phone, swipe, 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 swipe. But you may have been to the movie theater at some point in the last 10 years, and I will just tell you, unless it was an IMAX screen, a lot of these events are dealing with way the hell bigger screens than you're dealing with at a movie theater. And the whole point is to shake someone's seats, right? You're not getting the beginning of Godzilla when he's created. You're just getting the attack. Back to Amazon. Let's go ahead and play. I bet we could find the original one without an intro. Play that.
Okay. Yeah, I could do that. I'm going to show you the original version of this video that became the opening video for Amazon Unboxed. Go straight in.
Time is not real.
Okay, right?
All right,
Now
that's all I needed to see. Okay.
That's all you need to see, right?
I'm going to explain to you, this was my critique from the beginning, was the beginning doesn't work. Here's why that's my critique. The video is great. The whole video is great. It came out really well. It's a great sort of highlight reel of all the different Amazon shows, Amazon movies, things you can do with Amazon, and how ads connect the whole thing, right? So this event was meant to pitch advertisers on how Amazon, from the shop itself all the way to the movies, has places you can advertise, and that's really valuable to your business. Very simple proposition. We need to make something sexy to kick off the event where everyone else who's going to speak from Amazon is going to have all sorts of great stuff to say. We want to hype up the audience. Here is what I know from being at a bunch of these events. This is also true of a movie theater. I have been to a movie once where there were no previews. There was no announcement. There was no dancing cups telling you to go buy soda. It just went into the movie and everyone was surprised, and they hadn't opened up their candies, and they hadn't even sat down, and there was a mom yelling at a kid, and some people were off to the bathroom. And why is this, Jared?
Because people are used to getting some lead in.
Right. And why?
Because there are always commercials before your movies at the movie.
Jared is wrong here. That is true, but I'm
It is
asking
true.
you why. I'm not asking for the objective truth. The reason for this is my argument, one man's opinion. That's probably why you didn't know, because you aren't in my head yet.
Not yet. We're getting there.
Maybe one day. The reason for this is that we have to be told to pay attention. There's a reason why there are countdowns. Boom, 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 boom. There's always a countdown. Why is there a countdown, Mr. Jared? It's the same reason there's trailers. It's not just for advertisement. It's to do what?
Well, my opinion, and this is just one guy's thought, is that the reason the countdowns are so prominent is because people need to be told to pay attention.
Way to go. Way to go. Way to recycle exactly what I said. Yes, we need to be told to pay attention. And the reason is that if all of a sudden you just show up, now play that video again. There are 1,000 people walking into a room. 16 of them are late. One of them is yelling at their boyfriend, right? Like, we have no idea, but all these people are entering from different places, different mindsets. We have to unify them on one thing. Play this again. Perfect. All right. All of a sudden that happens and there's text. How many people in the room read it?
I didn't read it. I'm looking at it.
No one.
Yeah.
No one. No one's going to read this. It's cool. It sounds cool. But here's the other thing. It's also like in the high frequency. Right? Which I guess is kind of like a bell. It does draw attention. However, I am of the opinion we need the gut punch. Okay, so let's go ahead and show the box.
The box?
The one that's a box.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Okay.
We saw enough.
Now you get to your text, and I'm ready to read it because it's yelling at me, right?
Play that again. Is there a way for us to do side by side with the two of them? It's staggeringly different.
Okay. Turn it up for you.
Yeah. Okay, pause it. All right, what's the first big difference?
There was a bit of a gut punch there. Low frequency.
Right. That is the world's loudest breaker being turned on, right? We're going from black. So first of all, we're going to black. There was still a countdown, right? There's always a countdown at these events. However, when you go to black, people go, oh, I should sit down. Then they're on their phones. And they're like, oh, okay, now I'm on my phone and I'm looking at Twitter. Do people like this event? Am I wasting my time at this event? And then all of a sudden, a video turns on that goes ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
How did you know?
Well, maybe you'll look up. If a video turns on and it goes rank and it hits you, I think we at least have now bought someone looking. Okay, now they're looking. Play this. We don't immediately give them something to read, right? Now there's a bit of mystery. It's like, wait, what is this? What's going on?
What's in?
Oh, it's Amazon! Yay! Okay, now I'm reading stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and close that out. But I think that's all this will be today. That was the that was the lesson of the day. It's all about controlling your audience. I'm just kidding. We're not done yet. Jared, what did you learn from this experience? When you watched the first one originally, did you think it was missing anything?
I thought it was great, but I didn't think about it in the context of the large screen. I thought of it in the context of a deliverable.
Of a video, right?
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
Totally. How many variants of this did we go through before I said it was long enough? How many times with the box did I have to say no longer, no longer, no longer, right?
Yeah, we did four box versions, and this is what we ended up on.
Just me telling the team to make it longer.
Yeah.
And here is why. It's just because of the circumstance with which the video is being played. Our goal is to make someone look and be excited and interested in something. We also have trapped them. There are loudspeakers. There's a very large screen. They are trapped in their seat unless they want to leave the event, which they've either paid for or maybe traveled to, or there's some reason they're there. So we have the added benefit of that. I actually think this intro will be absolutely terrible on the web.
Right.
Why is that?
It's long. It's
too long.
The first frame is black. By the time you get into the meat of it, somebody watching on the web is already sitting. They're already giving you their attention. You don't need to earn it because they clicked on your video, and they're about to watch it, right?
I'm going to go a different route, actually. I'm going to say it's actually the reverse. They have a much easier time clicking away, or in the TikTokification, swiping and swiping, right? You have to punch them with something immediately. And that isn't just look up. That's the actual content I'm going to share with you. The person can click off so quickly. So it's like, today we're going to throw 600 million water balloons off the Empire State Building see if anyone dies, right? Like this is,
right.
That's YouTube, that's TikTok. And again, it's knowing your audience. A movie, which is what events are closer to, doesn't do that at all.
Yeah.
A movie starts on black and you hear like, the whistle from a tea kettle, and your brain goes, dude making tea? What's going on? What's going on?
Tea? What's going on? I'm thirsty.
Wait, why isn't he getting his tea? That's been going on too long. And then all of a sudden, lights turn on, and you see that he's dead. And then you see a guy unscrew the silencer, wipe down a gun and drop it next to him, and then walk out. And then it cuts to black again. Tea kettle sound still going, and it says, the assassination of producer Jared.
Right, yeah. This is the way I go. and spoiler alert, I never get the tea.
But the point is that within the context of a theatrical production, which is what an event is, timing is very, very different. Most of us make content these days for the internet. So when you're then tasked with making content for a theatrical space, for some reason this just clicks with me. It's like something that like is built into me, but I have to go to our artists and say, no, take more time. No, take more time. The time we take in the negative space, the time we take in the dark, the time we take in the quiet, however long we can draw it out, the other side, the brightness, the excitement, etc., is exemplified because we only know how exciting something is in contrast to the quiet. So the question is, how long can you take it before someone says, fuck this, I'm out? And the answer is they have to leave the event space for that to be true at an event. Whereas on my phone, they swipe. Very, very different experiences. The last bit I want to talk about is, even though I've just said we did a great job with that box, they didn't like it. So let's be honest here. And even though everything I said about why the box made sense, they liked that part. They really did like the fact that we took our time. They understood why. We were able to get on call with them and express to them, hey, we really need to play up the quiet so that the excitement punches you, hits you, you read it, you're ready to go. Okay, here's why they didn't like it though. We got that box, we rebuilt it in 3D, but we got that box from some social art they had created leading up to this event. But without us knowing that, there was some internal disagreement on whether that was a good representation of Amazon's brand. So when we got feedback, I was blown away that they weren't more excited about it because their gut reaction actually was negative. And if you would have just read the gut reaction, you'd been like, man, I guess my read on events is wrong. I guess taking our time in the beginning is a bad idea. But by not having our ego get hit like that, we started to ask questions like, what is the issue, right? The reason they didn't want to do it was because they thought they were putting too much related to the selling portion of Amazon.
Yeah,
the shop
they called it
portion of
endemic.
Amazon.
They said it's too endemic. This is the customer-facing packaging. They don't want that to be.
What I realized was that everything was working, timing was working, it just wasn't that representation. So I thought that the simplest representation of the Amazon brand was the smile, which led us to this version, Jared. You know that smile goes from A to Z?
I realized that down one of my rabbit holes.
I realized that about 15 years into saying it. Cool. Pause it.
All right.
All right. My preference personally, and I'd love in the comments, tell us which one you like. I like the box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
And I like the box because it gives it a bit of a Pixar moment. It gives it a little character. But I recognize, again, as you mentioned, Jared, it's not just about the best way to express an emotion, express a story, etc. It's also about what fits best for that company, that part of a company, etc. We're not the experts. Hopefully, hypothetically, you've called us, you're working with us because you believe we're experts in storytelling. We are not experts in your brand. That is what you are. And so they knew that they didn't want to have the box, and this was a good middle ground. What does this have that maintains the positive of the box?
It has that lead-in moment. It has a big punch in the gut, and it has a sense of build leading into the big
Mystery.
mystery.
Where are
Intrigue.
we? Why are we here?
Why
Now,
are we smiling in the void? Yeah.
It doesn't have the tension of what's inside this box, which I think is like, it's like a cliche trope, right?
Mhm. Pandora's box.
Insert Pulp Fiction gold glowing suitcase,
Yeah.
right?
What's in the box?
It's a trope. Pandora's box, you're totally right. The thing that does everything that is inside of the box and no one knows what it is, you're always asking yourself what it is. Because what is storytelling, Jared? This goes back to a previous episode. It is asking the question. It's not giving the answer. That is what we came to last time.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's the J.J. Abrams approach of
Really?
the more questions. We've talked about this, right? J.J. Abrams is always talking about the question of what's in the box is always way more interesting than what's actually in the box. So don't tell people.
Did we talk about this? I feel like I thought I invented this, Jared. My egotistical ass thought that I was the one who had this idea.
Yeah,
I guess it was
we did.
someone much better than me. J.J. Abrams, I shower you with applause. I no longer take ownership of this concept. But I think I take it a step further than J.J. Abrams and say that actually storytelling is just one more question than the amount of answers you give. How interesting the question and the answer back and forth is really the amount of attention you get. We have no question about what the smile is. We do have a question about why it's zooming in, and we are curious what comes next. The box does take it up a level, but again, it was about, we were down to the wire. There were all sorts of conversations happening about how can we execute this beginning. And what they wanted to keep, which I'm so happy that they did keep, was the buildup. Make sure people sit down, make sure people are looking. Before we send them any text, we want them to read any information we want them to see, make sure we've drawn their attention. The storyteller in me wishes we got that little Pixar moment of like, oh my God, look at this. Whoa, it's a box. What's in the box? Oh, how exciting.
Yeah. It was very like edgy Pixar. I really like that about it. And, it's on the nose, but it's Amazon, and it's Amazon is boxes.
Amazon unboxed. That's what happened in the beginning. We had it boxed. It was unboxed.
Yeah.
Replaced with a smile.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the whole episode. That's it. This has been, I hope, an educational episode about understanding the circumstances with which people consume your content, the video you're creating, the animation you're creating, the design you're creating, because knowing where they are helps you understand how best to service them. Are you delivering a Mr. Beast, punch him in the face with, this is what we're doing today, we're going to throw this off a cliff, are you ready? Or do you have a bit of a captive audience and you have the potential to bring them to higher heights by starting out slow and low? We must go slow in order to go fast. Caveat being, not really true when we're delivering to TikTok. So knowing where does this go is important to knowing the pacing you utilize and what style of storytelling fits best. Again, I'll leave you with this visual. 400-foot screen and it's just Mr. Beast's face yelling at you. I don't think it's as compelling as Mr. Beast on your phone. You have to know the circumstances with which people consume your content to understand what makes good storytelling. There is no one size fits all. A episodic television show is different than a movie, is different than a TikTok, is different than YouTube, is different than this short form video you're watching right now, and cut. Surprise, we're back. You see? You see what we did there? Do you see what we did there? You thought we were done. I'm playing with your expectations. I'm controlling your eye here, and we're done. It's producer Jared right in the hot seat. Now he has a hat on because it's Halloween. And
Oh yeah, happy Halloween.
happy Halloween.
I have a message for you. Inside of the box. What's inside the box? Inside the box is the next episode. And it's gonna blow your mind.
TBS Unboxed.